I've been with Marini for just under 4 years, and today we're really excited to do a webinar with our partner Boost Media. And we've been talking to Boost Media for well over 2 years now, so this is a fairly long relationship we've had with them. And we are pretty close to announcing some very exciting product integrations. You might have seen the press release that went out already. We've got some beta customers that are using it, and so what we wanted to do today was give our customers, that being you, a preview of what Boost Media does, how we think that they're a game changer when it comes to creative optimization, and ultimately how you can use them to improve conversions and performance for your digital advertising campaigns across search, social, and display. So with that introduction, I'd like to hand it over to our friends at Boost, starting with Erik Ford, who is their VP of Marketing, and he'll take it from here. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Gagan. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And as Gagan had mentioned, we've had a very long-standing and great relationship with Marin Software, and we see this as a journey together. So very excited to share some of the things that are about to come. So today I wanted to talk to you about the secret advantage of optimized ad copy for driving more conversions and profitability. What we've found here at Boost is that there really is an opportunity to kind of close the loop on end-to-end optimization. And what I mean by that is the marriage between Marin Software and Boost Media will allow the advertiser to not only manage what they have been able to manage in the past with keywords and bids, but now start to offer more targeted and personalized messaging through the Boost platform. So today I wanted to talk to you about a few different things. This is me on the left here, and we'll be joined by special guest Cezanne Huq, who will be able to speak to a case study with Intuit after working with them over the last 6 or 9 months. So the impetus for this is to basically explain what Boost is all about, talk through our platform here a little bit, importantly share best practices, and then cover off on a real-world example with Intuit, and then obviously cover off on any questions. So my goal today is to take down Twitter. Essentially, you saw Ellen's tweet the other night with the Oscars, and it very shortly took down Twitter with a new record of 3.3 million retweets. And so, if we don't accomplish that, I hope that we still can achieve sharing best practices on creative optimization with the hashtag #AdBoost. So what's Boost all about? Boost increases advertiser profitability by using a combination of humans and software to drive increased ad relevance at scale. But what does that really mean? Well, we've developed a platform that uses humans to produce creative at scale, on demand for the enterprise. And we've married that platform and the human creativity with a workflow system to effortlessly identify and test tens or hundreds of new creatives simultaneously. And while learning about Boost, you can know that you're in good company. You've been chosen by 100+ of the largest online marketers, and we optimize across all major verticals, monitoring and testing millions of ads to surface the very best in creative optimization. Simply put, the years of experience and data we have allows our customers to benefit from the most intelligent ad testing system in paid search, period. So now that you know a little bit about Boost, let's talk about why creative matters and why fresh creative matters. Essentially, across every vertical, there are both predictable and unpredictable needs to maintain targeted and relevant creative. As you can see here, opportunities like seasonality, product launches, promotions, and industry fluctuations always keep your creative on point. Whether it's buying a new blender or car, a trip, home for the holidays or just managing your retirement, customers are expecting more relevant and personalized creative. Recently, I bought a new blender, and as I searched, I saw a relatively stale copy referencing a New Year's resolution. It's March now, so resolutions weren't really what I had on mind when I was trying to replace my 10-year-old Braun blender. If we were going to focus on seasonality, perhaps swimsuit season with summer right around the corner would have been better creative. There's always a need for fresh creative. So as we know that there's always a need for fresh creative, let's talk about what marketers are doing today. So today, the search marketer is pretty strapped for bandwidth and time. What we see with that is that, as Boost is offering the third pillar of optimization, focusing on creative, marrying it with Marini for keywords and bid optimization, advertisers are only spending about 3% of their time writing new ads or unique ads per month, whereas they're managing hundreds of thousands of keywords on a monthly basis and doing tens of thousands of bid changes on a daily basis. And as a result of that, they're only able to spend less than 5 hours a month writing and testing for new creatives. And the way that they approach this from a methodology standpoint is driven by scale and efficiency, which makes complete sense with accounts this large. So instead of writing unique and personalized ad copy, we see people using templates, DKI, and concatenation to help essentially get them to scale creative across these large accounts. What I want to point out is that there are huge opportunities by focusing on creative. So by getting more targeted creative, you can be effective with your granular audiences. You've employed a platform like Marini to essentially reach a better audience, more sophisticated audience, the personas that you're trying to reach within that demand. So we would urge you to essentially help focus your creative to be more personalized and targeted. Take advantage of the targeting that you've done with Marini. And the next thing is by establishing a more consistent approach, you can understand the best testing strategy for you. If you know if a consumer reacted more emotionally versus pricing, how would you change the way that you test? How would you change the way that you would write creative? It's like having a family of 5 and having to deal with their extracurricular schedules without having your own schedule. It's sheer chaos. The intention is good. The outcome is good in terms of personal development and balanced lifestyles with your kids. But if you can't get them on time or make it happen, then it can be disastrous. And the last is advanced customer insights. You really want to maximize customer insights unlike anything before, which will allow you to provide a leg up over your competition. So I wanted to dive into a specific example of what this looks like in real life. This is a customer of ours that both employed more targeted and personalized messaging, as well as a systematic approach to testing and evolving the creative. The first ad on the left, as the baseline, reads car rental deals. And that is the keyword for this, very high volume, high traffic keyword. Compare low rates from top brands, book a car rental deal. Pretty good. So then we took it to the Boost network to revise that creative, to see what else we could come up with. Shop car rental deals. More intent focus, and included a modification on the display URL that really targeted what the keyword was looking for with the search intent. Compare hundreds of cars for no fee. Save on car rentals in one search. So they maximize both efficiency with a single search and reinforce the brand message and search intent of the user with no fees. And so they saw an increase in 7% conversions per impression tied to this new creative. Well, the advertiser wanted more performance, so we took it back to the network again. We took a little bit more of a challenging or risky route. We focused on the emotion. And so the last creative iteration you can see here on the right calls out cheap car rentals. Don't overpay for your car rentals. Compare hundreds of car rental rates. By marrying both the pricing and the emotional feeling of overpaying, consumers were able to engage 62% more from a conversions per impression with this creative. This is very powerful stuff if you have a systematic and personalized creative approach. So now I want to talk to you about the art and science. I'm going to quickly dive into how Boost works so you can understand the framework of scalable, effective testing. The key is really quite simple. You have the creativity of humans, the efficiency of a platform, and the scale of a marketplace to get more personalized, scalable creative across search, social, and display. So there are three main aspects to the Boost platform. And at a high level, there's two. The human network that provides the creativity, and the cloud software side that helps manage from a workflow and algorithm standpoint. Basically, the human network is consisted of over 1,000 professional optimizers, both on the copy side and the image creative side, curated by Boost. And on the software side, there's a seamless and effortless software system that allows people to test, optimize, and improve the creative that goes out to our network and back. We've developed some of the most advanced industry algorithms for creative optimization to optimize against everything from CTR to return on ad spend and beyond. So with a balanced network and a sophisticated cloud-based software platform, advertisers consistently see performance increases. Now that you understand conceptually what Boost looks like, here's how we work. Setup is very, very quick and easy. Generally, most clients and customers get set up in under 3 days. And then we focus on a continual optimization program. By exchanging credentials, prioritizing where we should start optimizing, and receiving guidelines from the advertiser, we can get to work right away. And on the right side here, we focus on our process. We believe that this process, over time, as a best practice, has resulted in extraordinary gains in performance for all of our advertisers. Very quickly, we move through the prioritization with the customer. So we point out where there are opportunities to work and optimize creative, and pull out those that they don't want to touch, maybe such as brand terms or more special DR type of place. Then we ping the Boost network to provide the creative. And they usually return that within 24 hours or 48 hours. From there, before the creative actually meets the advertiser for the first time, we have an internal quality control where we vet with a lead writer or lead designer who is the brand ambassador, essentially, for the advertiser within Boost. Once they approve, then the creative goes over to the advertiser for approval on the external side. And once approved or modified from there, we have API syncs into the major engines and platforms with Google, Yahoo, and Bing to push this creative live and start the optimization process. Lastly, we measure. Automatically, Boost monitors the performance and makes sure that that new creative is being executed and succeeding against an advertiser's targeted metric, whether it's ROI, CPI, CTR, or any other custom metric. But the process essentially provides a way for advertisers to effortlessly test and achieve not only performance gain, but also increase profitability and better insights. We replace the 3 essential activities of testing, which are writing, testing, and reporting on ads, with just one: approving them. So now that you understand the opportunity and how Boost works, I'd like to introduce you to Cezanne Huq, who can run through how we've impacted results for Intuit.
Great, thank you, Erik. Really great to be here. Cezanne Huq, the head of online acquisition for Intuit. A couple of quick prefaces before I get into the really cool case study here. We think about paid search as part of a very, very important, obviously critical point solution or point channel for our advertising ecosystem. More importantly, Intuit's vision is to build a best-of-breed advertising tech stack. So in the end, we're trying to deliver an end-to-end relevant experience to delight our prospects. This essentially results in driving high-value paid customers. Boost is critical. In fact, very, very important to us, because what we think about is creative as a way to really emotionally connect, but also drive conversions, which I'm sure all of us want to do in the upward right direction. And Boost brings to bear creativity at scale, programmatic and systematic A/B testing for Intuit, and the management of the tests, all the way from the keyword match types, of course, the creative, down to the lifetime value of a customer, or whatever that action or conversion that you're looking for. So for Intuit, it's about the lifetime value. We have a subscription-based service called QuickBooks. And of course, ancillary benefits are that we collect valuable data about our prospects due to the level of scale and testing that we do with Boost, leveraging their crowdsourced freelance creative network platform. And of course, our analysts constantly mine and look at that data and look for valuable insights. So basically, Boost sits above our bidding platform, and it essentially augments our search capabilities beyond what we would typically do. In a classic sense, you would have ad groups and creatives. We've ultimately scaled that capability on the creative side to really programmatically and systematically test for results. So the slide that you're looking at essentially focused on an objective, what we consider an opportunity. So tax season and the beginning of the year is essentially into its peak. It's where the highest intent is for our customers and prospects. And we needed to increase our volume and also lower our acquisition costs. This case study actually focuses on the brand terms. And of course, brand terms for a lot of brand advertisers typically yield the highest results from a lifetime value perspective or a revenue standpoint, if that's what you're measuring. What Intuit did was work with Boost to really integrate with our bidding platform, as I suggested earlier. But what we focused on is our highest value ad groups, in this case, the QuickBooks terms. And then what we did was we looked at the two key primary indicators for us, and that was how do we get to a point where we can reduce our increase our CTRs, click-through rates, and improve our cost per click. And we felt like we were already, prior to Boost, really hitting up against the efficiency curve. But when we started working with Boost and leveraging their art and science and the platform that Erik already alluded to in terms of their very robust and rich technology stack, we started to look at control ad copy, in this case, the winner of our QuickBooks branded keyword portfolio. On the bottom left-hand side, you'll see the incumbent ad. It's essentially a straightforward ad, nothing special about it at the end of the day. And if you look at the bottom right, you'll see the optimized ad. And you may draw a conclusion that, wait, there's some obvious best practices here, but if you think about testing, every single variable that led to this optimized ad essentially started with the urgency, the limited time only elements, the offer, in this case the 20% off, the download now as the gratification, the instant gratification, and of course leveraging the nested site links that Google has to offer. Ultimately, what we were able to do for our QuickBooks branded terms was to drive our click-through rates up by 40% and our click-through cost per click down by 50% without impacting our conversions. So you can imagine how valuable this exercise in this particular case study is for us. It's one that we leverage now to scale beyond our branded portfolios to look at our category keywords like accounting, bookkeeping, taxes, online taxes, and so on and so forth, as each keyword and keyword portfolio tends to drive a particular type of P&L. So for us, Boost Media has been extremely gratifying from a click perspective as well from a cost effectiveness standpoint. And it goes without saying we've driven conversions or kept conversions in this case pretty much flat. Erik?
Great. Thanks very much, Cezanne. I really appreciate the kind words and you outlining some of those best practices for us. So moving on and piggybacking off of those best practices, I wanted to talk through very quickly some of the best practices that we see on our side and can recommend to you guys before we jump into questions. So it's very important to identify a process. You know, as mentioned and showed before, Boost has an internal process that we've been testing for over 4 years that essentially, guarantees better results if you follow the process. So, advertisers will greatly increase opportunities to optimize creative. And those increases in performance will lead to higher quality customer acquisition, often at a better cost with the right process. The second is to really focus on key success factors. So, the first of the many are maximizing frequency. So this is especially pertinent to more of the display and social side of advertising, where creative fatigue certainly sets in. By monitoring these performance KPIs and insights throughout the campaign, you can ensure that as fatigue happens, you can keep an eye on it. So on the right-hand side, whether it's setting up an alert or using this platform to do so, you can basically identify where creative starts to trail off from a performance standpoint, pause that creative, and replace it with fresh, boosted creative. Now the next is minding seasonality. You have to know when promotions, seasonality, and other time-sensitive creative need to go live. You need to calendar against it to maximize impact. What good is your creative if you're not cognizant of seasons, life stages, or maybe even opportunities your competition is taking advantage? Say if you're Disney and you're trying to drive traffic to Walt Disney World down in Florida, you should be taking advantage of this polar vortex up in New England and New York and across the entire eastern seaboard, and cater your messaging to people that are stuck indoors wishing they were in warmer weather and on vacation. This is a very prime time opportunity. Understand that, acknowledge it, use it. And the last is to establish criteria. Testing specific elements such as background, call to actions, and subjects will allow advertisers to find which variants lead to top performance and engagement. So it's really important to find the right cadence and test specific items. And the last of the three are to achieve intelligent creative. Essentially, you want to learn from testing over time. And as I mentioned at the end about testing specific elements or criteria, here's a specific example with Zynga that we've done on the social display side. First, we tried out backgrounds, and we evolved that. And then we focused on the CTA, the color of the CTA, and evolved that. And then lastly, we focused on the subject, and we achieved intelligent creative with an optimized message. This is a constant process, and as you battle fatigue, you should also see that as an opportunity to test different things out and find what creative works well. So the last thing I want to leave you with from our side are some insights. Here's an example of word learnings and testings that we found, and I would guide you to do the same. The overarching principle is to focus on an ad component on the left-hand side, whether it's price descriptions, CDAs, or descriptions of these discounts. And then focus on the words themselves. So taking price descriptions, you have cheap and low among the same cohort, and then you have safe. If you take a look at their performance, you can see that the cheap and low consistently perform stronger and higher than safe. So the next step, as you see on the right, is to test cheap or low against safe messaging in your creative throughout your campaigns. If you come up with these as next steps, you can test these learnings and propagate them across your accounts for better results. Another important piece came out back in November from Google, specifically focusing on a white paper called Creative That Clicks. And what they found was, across their network, tying in keywords into the headlines lifted CTRs on average of 15%. And if you have those keywords also in the display URL, they lifted CTRs on average of 8%. And perhaps the most powerful statement out of the research was that ads that featured keywords in both the headline and the first line description impacted CTRs in a positive way over two-thirds of the time. It's very powerful stuff. So I just want to recap Boost benefits real quick and make sure that you focus on the right things. Again, we offer three main benefits: increased profitability, time savings, and proprietary insights. And as you get these insights, let's talk about how they can work closer with Marin. So coming soon, you'll be able to identify where to optimize, request ads, and approve and report on ads directly within the Marin platform. Today, we're in a very limited release piloting this out, and it's coming very soon. So now we're at a stage where we can open up the floor to questions.
Great. Thanks, Eric. Okay, so one of the first questions we have is, what countries and languages do you guys support?
So that's a great question. So today, Boost provides localized copy and creative in the following: English across America, Australia, and Great Britain; Spanish both in Spain and in Mexico and Latin America; Italian natively; German natively in Germany, as well as Dutch; French both in France and Canada; and then Portuguese in Portugal and Brazil, native and localized. And then we also extend into more longer-term agreements where we will specifically staff creative writers and optimizers for you in Russian, Polish, Romanian, Hungarian, Swedish, Finnish, Czech, and Bulgarian. Quite a long list, but we cover the main Romance languages very well in a localized fashion.
Great. And can you talk some more about your Facebook solution, your social clients in particular?
Sure, absolutely. So, just over a year and a half ago, we piloted out working on creative optimization beyond search. And we didn't know where it was going to lead, and I'm sure many have found mixed results with Facebook over the years as they've evolved their platform. And so today, as the platform matures, advertisers are seeing really great results. And they're finding the right audiences at the right price. And so the key is to give them the right message. And so we've been working over the last year plus, mainly with Zynga, who's one of the largest advertisers on Facebook, as well as most recently the company Green, to focus on, again, those best practices that I'd outlined just a few slides ago, specifically focused on combating creative fatigue, or having the optimal refresh cadence, and making sure that we're systematically testing specific things throughout to get the ultimate performance that these customers need from an acquisition standpoint.
Great. So we'll do one more question, and we'll make sure to answer any additional ones after the webinar. And you'll also be able to find a recording of the webinar within Zendesk after this. So can you tell us about the timing of the Marin Boost integration?
Sure. So, as I mentioned a little bit before, we're currently in kind of a limited release pilot. So current mutual customers of both Marin Software and Boost are on an invite-only basis for this limited release. So over the next month or 6 weeks, we'll be testing and perfecting the integration, and then we'll start to open this thing up more publicly to the entire Marin customer base and those that are interested in working with Boost. What we found, and one of the biggest things that we saw with mutual customers, was that they love both platforms, but they really only want to spend time in one of those. And so bringing the power and the capabilities of Boost into the Marin platform makes complete sense, and we're very excited to do so.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Cezanne, and Gagan as well. I hope you enjoyed this webinar. You can go ahead and find this, as I mentioned, within Zendesk afterwards. Thank you.